this is how this works pretty much, right? So you got all these new weapons to drop, these reds, as people are calling them. These are the Deepsight resonance weapons. Random drops from any source in the game. They can literally drop as any weapon in the game. Any weapon can be a Deepsight resonance weapon. So all of them drop, and you have this progress bar on it, right? Called attunement progress. All you got to do is get kills with the weapon, do activities with the weapon. You complete the progress bar. Now, when you complete the progress bar, it'll look like this. So all these weapons have specific elements on them. It's random, but it's based on the perks that they have. I believe there's 4 different ones. There's Ruinous, there's Adroit, there's Mutable, and there's Energetic. The 5th element is Drowned, but that's for the raid. So whenever the raid comes out, those weapons that are craftable, you'll use Drowned element. So when you look at the perks on one of these Deepsight weapons, that's how you know what these elements are for. Each element is associated with a different kind of perk, right? So Ruinous element is associated with like damage perks. Adroit element is associated with like weapon stability and all that kind of stuff. Bungie has like a list that they posted online with all the elements and what they're associated with. So I'll just post that whenever I post a thing. It'll just be up there in the list. So every time you get a Deepsight weapon, you don't want to scrap it. You want to make sure that you do it, right? Complete the attunement progress, go into the weapon, and pull out one of these elements. Don't worry too much about which one it is or whatever the case. If you know which element you want, because you already know what kind of perks you want to get on the weapon when you're crafting, then do that. But in the beginning, just pull them, right? Doesn't matter which one, just pull them. If, like I said, you know what you want, then you pull what you want. But you just pull them because you're going to get that element and you're going to get neutral element. Now, the way that you get all these elements and stuff is mainly through these Deepsight weapons. So you're going to be doing a hell of a lot of attuning and a hell of a lot of pulling elements, right? You already know that when you finish the story, they gave you the glaive, they showed you how to do crafting, they gave you some materials, so they gave you a starter kit, right? But after that, when you start reshaping and shaping weapons, it's going to cost you. So you're going to be doing a lot of attunement. So when you come in here now, right, you got all these different weapons and stuff. The first question is like, how do I unlock a pattern? This says lock, that says lock. How do I unlock a pattern? So if you go into your Triumphs tab, right, go to Patterns and Catalysts, which is a new section, you can see all the patterns, which is what they're called. These are all the weapons that you can craft. And it shows you what you need to do to unlock the pattern. You basically have to complete the Deepsight Resonance weapon extractions for that particular kind of gun. So for the auto rifle from the season, for instance, I need 5 pattern extractions, like pattern completions. So basically that means I need to do 5 Deepsight resonance weapons of those, of the auto rifle that I want. I have to do 5 of those, complete them like this, extract an element, right? And then that'll be 1 pattern pulled. I have to pull 5 patterns before I unlock that. That's how you unlock them. So once you have it unlocked, the next part of that, I'm going to just go to the pulse rifle because I know I have this unlocked. Then you can start crafting. You pretty much start off on the left side, right? You'll select your intrinsic trait. That's pretty much stuck on every weapon. You don't get to change that. But as you level the gun up, which you'll do from using it, right? That's the main mechanic of crafting. You craft, you use the gun, you level them up. And then as you level them up, the gun will get stronger because you'll be able to do things like add a masterwork. So at level 7, you can choose handling, range, reload speed, stability, whatever it is for that gun. You can do that as you level it up. Then you got your perks. You start off with the basics, obviously, if you're at the beginning, right? So you buy your barrels, you buy your magazines. Then you got your 2 weapon traits here, your 2 perks. So you choose these. All this stuff costs neutral element. First time you craft. The only thing that costs anything different is the intrinsic trait, which costs Resonant Alloy, which is easy to get. All you got to do is literally just scrap any legendary in the game. It's not going to work for me because I already have full Resonant Alloy, but if you scrap any legendary weapon in the game, it will give you Resonant Alloy, right? So those are the materials you need. You need Resonant Alloy, which I just told you how to get. You need Neutral Element, which you get from when you turn in the Deepsight Resonance weapons, when you complete them and extract. And you'll also get the different element types like Adroit, Mutable, Energetic, and Ruinous. So all of this stuff is centered around the Deepsight Resonance weapons. Use those, complete those, extract the elements, get materials. Also, earn patterns. Complete enough patterns to fully unlock them, then you can craft the weapon. And when you come craft the weapon the first time, you're going to start off real basic. It's only going to cost you neutral element. You get a weapon crafted, you're done. Now it'll look like this. The little symbol on it showing that it's shaped. You got your perks laid out here. you can put your little kill trackers or whatnot, and it shows you a little progress bar, right? You level it up, right? Let's say you level it up, like I'm level 9 now. Let's say I'm like, all right, cool. I like this pulse rifle. I want to go in, I want to modify the perks. I want to upgrade it. I want to make it better. So now instead of going to shape to create a new weapon, you're going to go to reshape to modify an existing weapon. So let's go to the pulse rifle. The first thing you're going to notice here is I can't do anything. I can't hit A. I can't do anything. That's because if you're going to reshape, you can't have the weapon equipped. So you got to take off the weapon that you have, and then you go back into the crafting screen, select your weapon. Do that. I only say that because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be like, bro, I can't select my gun. Like, what's going on? You got to make sure it's unequipped. Then you can start crafting. Now I'm level 9. So I could come in here and I can choose one of the masterwork options if I want to, right? And it shows you the cost. That's going to be 20 resonant alloy, right? With some glimmer and some cores. Also, it says there the weapon earns additional minor stat boost at level 20. So you're also going to get another stat boost when you hit level 20. So yeah, you can level it up, choose whatever you want. You get more perk options to choose from, magazine, barrel wise. Then you unlock enhanced perks. These are expensive. Very expensive, and you have to, at least at this point in time, like make the right choice essentially, because the way that this works is once you make a choice, you spend that material, but it does not unlock this option. So if you decide to come back later and let's say I want to go, oh, I want outlaw, and then you're like, oh, you know what, I want moving target, you have to pay that cost every single time you swap them. I'm sure they're going to change that at some point because they already mentioned they're making some updates. They're looking at things and currencies and the way things are progressing. So I'm sure that's something they're going to take a look at, especially because Ascendant Alloy and stuff is pretty rare, even though they are buffing the drop rates. At the time that I'm saying this, they're buffing the drop rates for Ascendant Alloys this week. So I guess by the time anybody sees this, it'll be buffed. So it won't be as bad to get this, but it's still pretty rare. So you want to make sure you're making the right choice. And you got to read these perks too, right? Because they don't just give a blanket buff, let's say. Like for the best example I could think of is something like the one for all perk. So like it's not on this gun, but basically like the one for all perk gives you at its base, it gives you a 35% damage boost for 10 seconds. There's also enhanced one for all. Now, most people might think right off the bat, oh shit, it deals more damage, but that's not how that works. The way that that works is basically if you get 3 kills, you get a 35% damage buff for longer than 10 seconds. I don't have it, so I don't know the exact timing, but it's longer than 10 seconds. It increases the duration. Maybe it's like 12 to 15 seconds or something like that, but it basically lengthens that bit of time. Don't know how much, but you know, it's a benefit of having the enhanced perk. So, you know, you pay these costs, you select the perks that you want to have, and then you come back to the end right here, you shape your weapon, and you have your weapon. That works for shaping and reshaping. So that's pretty much the way the system works. Everything is centered around Deepsight resonance weapons. So you want to make sure you do these. Make sure you get as many materials as you can, right? Make sure you're completing them so you're unlocking more patterns. And then once you unlock the patterns, you go and you craft whatever it is that you want that's available, because we already went through it, but not every single gun is available. Right now, the only guns that are available for crafting are all of the Throne World weapons. So everything that's inside of Savathûn's Throne World, you can craft those weapons. There's 3 foundry options. So you got the Reginald D, that's a Hake option. You have the Palmera B, which is another Hake option. And then you have the Syncopation 53, which is a Suros option. So there's 3 foundry weapons. There's, I believe, 6 Throne World weapons. And then there's these weapons that I'm assuming are raid weapons, but they're showing up here as options to craft at this point. Maybe they're raid weapons, I don't know. But they're here. But then there's these other options. So we don't know. But at this point, that's what you can craft. So if there's a weapon that's craftable, my recommendation, craft it as soon as you can, and then use the crafted one. If you have a god roll that's not crafted, I'm not telling you to delete it, but you can craft that roll if you use the roll that you crafted. And you will not be able to level up your crafted gun if you're not using the gun that you crafted. It's kind of how that goes. But that's pretty much weapon crafting. So major tips are, if you got Deepsight resonance weapons and you want to know how many materials you have right now, just highlight the perks, right? Just highlight the perks. The perks will tell you literally how many of each element you have, and also give you a reminder of what kinds of perks you can get with each element type, right? So definitely keep that in mind, and never scrap Deepsight resonance weapons. They're basically weapon crafting bounties for materials, and you need these. Like, I think you have to do 10 Deepsight Resonance weapons gives you enough neutral element for crafting one weapon. So just keep that in mind. Don't scrap Deepsight Resonance weapons. Just use them and complete the Deepsight Resonance attunement process. Attune them, extract them, and then do whatever you want with them. You know what I mean? If the gun has a bad roll, it doesn't matter. They all shoot bullets. They will all kill enemies. Just jump into patrol somewhere and just go kill a bunch of ads. Just go to the moon. Just go do Altar of Sorrows, right? Just go farm the ads from that. You'll get it done quick before you even know it. And you'll be done, right? Just don't scrap them, please. That's pretty much it. That's weapon crafting.